Before we get started, this episode is about men's mental health, counselling support, and there's a brief mention of suicide. If that's close to home right now, look after yourself as you listen. There's a list of supports in the comment section and a support message at the end of this episode that you can skip ahead to at any time if you need it. Hello and welcome back to another episode. I'm Jason, Men's Health and Wellbeing Coordinator here at Trobe University's Student Wellbeing Service. And today, I want to do a little demystifying and talk about counselling, going to therapy, seeing a mental health professional like a psychologist or a social worker. Today's going to be all about making the decision to go, what does it look like, and what are some of the myths and legends, and what do guys actually think when they come out the other end? There's a great series from Movember called What is Therapy? 5 short videos, about 20 minutes all up, and I'm going to link this in the description for you. It gives a more detailed and bloody funny deep dive into this topic, so really worth checking it out. But stick with me and I'll give you my take as a psychologist working in men's mental health and as someone who's benefited from seeing one myself. This is Men's Wellbeing Conversations, Episode 4, No Couch Required, Counselling for Men. For a lot of guys, deciding to come to counselling is the hardest part. And some of it is about how we think about ourselves, such as, I wouldn't know what to say. I'm not bad enough for this, whatever bad is. I should be able to sort this out myself. I'm not really a therapy person. Some of it is also about worrying about what other people think. And this is where societal stigma creeps in. That men don't go to counselling. My mates would think I'm soft. What if work found out? Someone else needs that appointment more than I do. And what if people think I'm crazy? These are really common thoughts. They're also the thoughts a lot of guys had before going to counselling and getting a lot out of it. As the Movember series puts it, courage is facing into the thing that scares you. So if counselling feels like a scary idea, giving it a go is the brave option, not the soft one. And as for what people think, it's up to you who you tell. In my experience, when guys do tell their mates, those mates are really proud of them. It also spreads the message that it's okay to go to counselling, and it might help a few of your friends make the decision themselves who have also been thinking about it. The choice is yours. Now to the myths and legends. Unlike the movies, there is no couch to lie on. Now, you might find somebody out there with a couch, but pretty much this is not going to be the case. The counselling environment is flexible and it can take many different forms. We talk more about this in a moment in the podcast. Another myth is that you're going to need to turn up and talk all about your childhood and parenting. Now, this can come up and sometimes it really matters, but it's not the whole thing. You're in control about what we talk about at the end of the day. Another myth, psychologists and counsellors don't talk. We just sit there nodding. Not true. Counselling is an active process where we do indeed do a lot of listening, but we also ask questions, give different perspectives, and are a part of a conversation with you, about you, and meeting your goals. The biggest myth, I have to say, is the one we've already touched on, and that guys don't go to counselling. From my experience, men of every age, personality, background, walk through that door each and every day. And plenty of them walk back out pleased they turned up. So it's more the case that men seeking counselling maybe don't feel they find what's right for them. There's a figure from Movember that puts numbers on it. Nearly half of guys who seek help drop out. That's 45%. Now that one's on us as part of the mental health community. It's on the people designing these services to build counselling that considers what men actually need, rather than expecting men to fit a box that was never shaped for them in the first place. So what actually happens in a therapy or counselling session? Broadly, counselling is a conversation with someone whose job it is to help you work out what's going on for you and to help you find some different directions or a different understanding. Sessions usually run about 50 minutes, weekly or fortnightly at first. It can be a run of sessions, or it can be a one-off or a single session, or even just an individual check-in from time to time as you feel you need it. It doesn't have to be two people sitting in a room either. It can happen walking, it can happen sitting outside in nature, it can be over Zoom in the comfort of your own home, it can be on the phone, in whatever space you're comfortable in. Some of it is talking things through, and a lot of it's practical, looking at patterns, building skills, having something to try before the next session. But mostly it works off the strengths you've already got. And if you reckon you haven't got any, which is actually never the case, we will help you find them together. The framing I like most is that it's skill building rather than repair. You're not broken and you're not getting fixed. You're getting better at handling what life throws at us, something we can all learn. The first session can feel the most daunting. Now, it looks roughly like this. You turn up in person or online, and your counsellor comes to meet you in the waiting room. You head to the room together, and they introduce themselves and will explain how they work. They're going to start by talking about confidentiality. That might sound like paperwork or box ticking, but it really matters. It's the conversation about how what you say stays between the two of you, with the exception of situations where there's risk to you or to somebody else's safety, situations your counsellor will explain in full before you start. They'll probably acknowledge that this might feel strange at first, attending a session like this. Then they'll ask some version of, what would you like to talk about today, or what brings you in at this time? Early on, they're getting a bit of a shape of your life, who's in it, what's been going on, and what you're actually there about. Now, that can take a little bit of time, but it's necessary. And remember, what you talk about is totally up to you. While the counsellor is making an assessment of the best way to support and work with you, you're not being assessed. Nobody's handing down a verdict. It's your hour. You lead, they guide. And yes, it might feel a little bit awkward. You're telling a stranger about your life. Of course it is. That's not a sign it isn't working. It's just human. And that stranger stops being a stranger pretty quickly. What you find instead is someone in your corner helping you get to where you want to go. What you can talk about. Now, this is your space and your call what goes into it. That's the thing most guys end up liking the most. That this is a space for them to talk about what they want, free from judgment, to put it on the table and work through it together. Here's a range of different things that men are actually bringing in. And of course, the list is endless. A relationship that's ending, study or work flattening them, anger they don't like the look of, feeling depressed, anxious, or on edge, thoughts of not wanting to live anymore, drinking more than they meant to, not getting enough sleep, feeling like they can't put their phone down, pornography playing a bigger part of their life than they want it to, losing a mate, wanting to be a better partner or a better dad, feeling stuck and not able to say why, making sense of something hard that happened in their life or even something good that happened in their world. There's no minimum amount of struggling you have to do first. It's what's important to you. And if you turn up not knowing what to say, I'm not really sure is a fine place to start. What to ask them? Now, this is the part I'd most like you to hear, because many guys don't know, or perhaps don't feel comfortable about asking questions of your counsellor too. Counselling isn't something being done to you. It's an interaction. It's something you're doing with somebody else, and you can shape it. Things worth saying out loud. Can you tell me how you work? I'd like to leave with something I can actually try this week. What can you give me? I'd rather focus on what's ahead than go back over everything. Or I want to talk more about something that happened in the past before we go forward. Also, I don't want to only talk about feelings. And I've done this before. Counselling didn't work. And here's what didn't work last time. All a fair game. A good counsellor will welcome every one of them, because it means you get what you want, and it makes our job easier too. So what happens after the first session? Well, this is different for everybody. Firstly, you may not feel different straight away. Nothing just flicks over. It's closer to training than a repair job, and you wouldn't walk out of one gym session expecting to be stronger. Guys often tell me they notice change looking back in reflection. Second, you might feel a bit wrung out. You've just spent an hour talking about things you don't normally talk about. Some guys feel lighter. Some guys feel a sense of relief. Some people feel tired. All are normal, and it settles. Lastly, if the session felt unproductive, say so. That's usually mismatched expectations, and naming it fixes it. And if you don't click with the person, you're allowed to try somebody else. Though give it a session or two to warm up first. That's not quitting, that's doing it properly. The Men in the Movember What is Therapy series describe what they got in clear terms, and here are a few of their thoughts on what they got from counselling. This included being better able to put into words what they're feeling, having a different angle on their own thoughts and emotions, something to push back with when the negative voice starts up, more patience with the people around them and themselves, and knowing when they need support and how to go and get it. Understanding themselves in a deeper way, and feeling more of a sense of control over their own mental health. A few of them said the same thing about the first session. They walked out relieved they'd done it. Nobody described it as easy, but several described it as worth it. From a personal perspective, I've sought therapy a few times in my life. I will never forget how hard it was to make that call. For the young 20-something version of me, it was a step that changed the course of my life. Something I'm very grateful for today. So how do you go about seeking out counselling for yourself? Well, if you're a La Trobe University student, the Student Wellbeing Service is right here and it's free. There's generalist counselling, LGBTIQ+ counselling, and our very own men's health and wellbeing program with counselling designed with men in mind. Details on how to make an appointment are in the description. If you're not a student and listening from the wider community, a GP is a good place to start. They can talk you through options and help with making a referral under Medicare and discuss a range of options. And if you need someone right now, Lifeline is there 24/7, along with services like Men's Line and Beyond Blue. So there we go, demystifying done. No couches, no verdicts, no staring at the ceiling. Just 50 minutes that belongs to you, someone working through it with you, and no minimum or maximum amount of struggling required to get through the door. If you're curious, Check out Movember's What is Therapy? The link is below and it's a good laugh. And if you're a La Trobe student, we're right here. Thanks for listening. Take care of yourselves and each other. This has been Men's Wellbeing Conversations. If anything in today's episode has brought something up for you, or you're currently in crisis, please don't sit with this alone. You can contact Lifeline anytime on 131114. If you're a La Trobe University student, the University After Hours Crisis Line is available to you when the wellbeing services are closed. Call 1300 146 307. There's also a list of current supports in the comments section. The content of this podcast is based on published research and information from trusted health organisations. It does not reflect or disclose information about any past or present client of the Student Wellbeing Service or of the host of this podcast. Any resemblance to an individual's circumstances is coincidental. This podcast is for general educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional psychological support.